जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे राधा माधव राधे। जय राधा रास बिहारी राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय गोपाल जय वंशी गोपाल। जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा देवी जय सुदर्शन। जय निताय सची सुत निताय सची सुत निताय सची सुत निताय सची सुत। जय तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी जय तुलसी महारानी जय वृंदे देवी। जय षड गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा षड गोस्वामी जय गुरु परंपरा। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव श्रीपाद, गुरुदेव जय जय श्रीपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोदशट श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन होलीनेस भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामी महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोदशट श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण रविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोदशट श्री श्रीमद इस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय। नमाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। व्रजभूमि मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। द्वारका धाम की जय। अयोध्या धाम की जय। पंढरपुर धाम की जय। गंगा मई की जय। यमुना मई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। जय बोलो हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्णचंद्र मंदिर की जय। गोपाल जी मंदिर की जय। गुरु महाराज समाधि मंदिर की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to this Saturday morning's transcendental discussions on Srimad Bhagavatam, the transcendental literature that we have, thanks to Sukdev Goswami and Vyasadev. And today we shall be discussing on the 39th verse of the first chapter of the most important 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the verse is in front of you on the screen. Dehe panchatvamapane देही कर्मानुगवसः देहान्तरम् अनुप्राप्य प्राकृतनं त्यजते वपुः देहे पञ्चात्वम् आपने देही कर्मानुगवसः देहान्तरम् अनुप्राप्य प्रकर्तनं त्यजते वपुः देहे पञ्चत्वम् आपने देहे कर्मानुगवसः देहान्तरम् अनुप्राप्य प्राक्तनं त्यजते वपुः. Anyone to read? Yes, Anusha.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम देहे पंचत्वमापन्ने देहि कर्मानुगो वशः देहान्तरमनुप्राप्य प्राक्तनं त्यजते वपुः. हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you so much. Very nice. Anybody else would like to recite this wonderful
हरे
verse?
कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna, Anjali Mataji. Please go ahead.
देहे पञ्चत्वम् आपन्ने देहि कर्मानुगो वसः देहान्तरम् अनुप्राप्य प्राकृतनं त्यजते वपुः. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to recite? All right, so we can go then to the synonyms. Dehe, when the body, panchatvam apane, turns into five elements. Dehi, the proprietor of the body, the living being. Karma anugaha, following the reactions of his own fruitive activities. Avashaha, spontaneously or automatically. Deha antaram, another body made of material elements. Anuprapya, receiving as a result. Praktanam, the former. Tyajate, gives up. Vapuhu, body. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Channaravinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When the present body turns to dust and is again reduced to five elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, ether, the proprietor of the body, that is a living being, automatically receives another body of material elements according to his fruitive activities. When the next body is obtained, he gives up the present body. Purport. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, which presents the beginning of the spiritual understanding. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhira satra namuhyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. 2.13 Bhagavad Gita. A person or an animal is not a material body. Rather, the material body is the covering of the living being. Bhagavad Gita compares the body to a dress and elaborately explains how one changes the dress one after another. The same Vedic knowledge is confirmed here. The living being, the soul, is constantly changing bodies one after another. Even in the present life, the body changes from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age. Similarly, when the body is too old to continue, the living being gives up this body and by the laws of nature automatically gets another body according to his fruitive activities, desires, and ambitions. The laws of nature control this sequence, and therefore, as long as the living entity is under the control of external material energy, the process of bodily change takes place automatically according to one's fruitive activities. Vasudev therefore wanted to impress upon Kamsa that if he committed this sinful act of killing a woman, then in this next life he would certainly get a material body, still more conditioned to the sufferings of the material existence. Thus, Vasudev advised Kamsa not to commit sinful activities. One who commits sinful activities because of ignorance, tamogun, attains or obtains a lower body. Karanam guna sangasya sad asad yoni janmasu. There are hundreds and thousands of different species of bodies. There are hundreds and thousands of different species of life. Why are there higher and lower bodies? One receives these bodies according to the contaminations of material nature. If in this life one is contaminated by the mode of ignorance and sinful activities, that is dushkruti, in the next life, by the laws of nature, one will certainly get a body full of suffering. The laws of nature are not subservient to the whimsical desires of the soul. Our endeavor, therefore, should be to associate always with sattva guna and not indulge in rajagun or tamagun. Rajastamo bhavaha. lusty desires and greed keep the living entity perpetually in ignorance and prevent him from being elevated to the platform of Sattva Gun or Shuddha Sattva Gun. I'll repeat this again. Lusty desires and greed keep the living entity perpetually in ignorance and prevent him from being elevated to the platform of Sattva Gun or Shuddha Sattva Gun. One is advised to be situated in Shuddha Sattva Gun, that is devotional service, for thus one is immune to the reactions of the three modes of nature. I'll repeat this again. One is advised to be situated in the Shuddha Sattva Gun, that is devotional service, for thus one is immune to the reactions of the three modes of material nature. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप गदामह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुव एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामिन् इति नामिनि नमस्सद्भक्तमणि मणिपुर उद्भवाय च श्रीला प्रभुपादलसतवाणी प्रचारिणि रतायते नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाये तदालिये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम् Hare Krishna, everyone. Once again, welcome to this morning's session of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today is a auspicious day in many respects. First of all, it is the Avirbhav Tithi of one of the prime Goswamis in our Gaudiya lineage, that is Srila Gopal Bhattadas Goswami. And then there is Tirobhav Tithi today of Ramchandra Kaviraj, also another wonderful devotee, good poet in our Gaudiya Parampara, associates of Mahaprabhu. And I'm also fortunate today to have in the company in personal form His Grace Mukundatta Prabhu, head pujari of Sri Sri Krishna Balram Temple, Vrindavan. He is with us here, and so we are blessed with his presence here today. And the third reason is it's a small reason, not something to consider, but I need your blessings for that reason. It is also my, as per the Hindu calendar, it is also my birthday today. So I would beg for all your blessings and prayers so that you all can bless me to be constantly remembering Krishna, never forget Krishna, and I always increase my merits in spiritual growth. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So we are in the 10th canto, and the chapter is first chapter, that is Advent of Krishna, the introduction. And as we are in 10th canto, we can say we are already in the traveling in the Vaikuntha plane, because this is going to give so many nectarian pastimes of the Lord that we are going to be completely immersed, that we should be traveling in the same flow. That's why I call it a Vaikuntha plane. And all the sweet pastimes of the Lord, primarily threefold pastimes, as we say, the Vraja Leela, the Mathura Leela, and the Dwarka Leela. They are covered in these 90 chapters. So we'll go very nicely. Today we are in the first chapter, 39th verse. And we know that the initial chapters are primarily dedicated to Lord Brahmaji's prayers. Because when Earth planet is burdened by all the evil forces, the Earth planet transforms into a cow-shaped, and then approaches Lord Brahmaji and for help. So Brahmaji is trying to help through the prayers with Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality. And then from chapter 5 onwards till I think 39, it is all Vrajalila of the Lord, all the childhood pastimes. And between there is a chapter, 3 chapters, 29 to 33, 4 chapters dedicated to the Lord's pastimes with the gopis, that is the Rasalila. So these, so 29, 30, 31, 30, 5 chapters. So these 5 chapters are called the Rasa Pancha Adhyaya. So they focus on that. And then, of course, subsequently, we are going to enter into the Mathura Leela of the Lord from 40th chapter onwards. And then finally, from 52 onwards till the end, 90th chapter. That means almost 39 chapters are dedicated for the Dwarka Leela of the Lord, Dwarka pastimes. So in today's verse, we find that Vasudev, the good husband of Devaki, is trying to give some gyan to Kamsa. So Kamsa, as we know, initially was very delighted that his sister Devaki is getting married in this Bhoja dynasty, and then Vasudev is going to be husband. So himself, he told his father, King Ugrasen, that I would want to drive the chariot for my sister. And it was well decorated, and he was in full gusto and great happiness. He was driving it until he heard this sudden Vani coming from the sky, and that Vani was actually very much a bad omen for him. The Vani was saying that, oh, you foolish rascal, you don't know what you're heading to. The eighth child of your sister is going to be the cause of your death. So hearing this, Kamsa becomes very, very bewildered, frightened, at the same time angry. And he immediately, thinks of how he can eliminate his sister. So with his left hand, he holds her hair tightly, and with the right hand, he lifts the sword to sever her head. So at that time, uh, Vasudev, you know, is actually trying to uh, glorify Kamsa, and then in the process, he is giving him some gyan, which is primarily the same knowledge which we can get from Bhagavad Gita. So he says, first of all, he tells in very nice words that, my dear brother-in-law Kamsa, you are actually the pride of our family, the Bhoja dynasty, and the all the great heroes always praise your wonderful qualities. So he starts off in a very positive note, and then he says that, how could you think of even killing a woman, and that also your sister, hmm? And on the occasion of our marriage, that is very much shocking. Then he goes on to say that you should know that anybody who is born is also certain to die. It's a matter of time. Somebody dies today, somebody will die after a few years, and somebody will die after maybe hundreds of years. But death is sure for everyone. Hmm? And so in this situation, you should understand that it's a question of transmigration of the soul. So the soul doesn't die. Huh? And if a person mistakenly is under the conception that he is the body, and in that conception he wants to kill another body, thinking that he is killing that person, and this is condemned as hellish. So this kind of knowledge he gives to Kamsa. But Kamsa is not satisfied with all this kind of explanation that Vasudev is putting in front of him. So then Vasudev goes to the next. So plan A was that, now he goes to plan B. So plan A did not work, because still after hearing all that, Kamsa wanted to, was not sure, so he wanted to kill her, Devaki. So now Vasudeva comes with the plan B, and he says that, okay, so you feel that the problem is the eighth child, right? So, and it's not Devaki. So you spare her, and I promise you that I will bring in front of you every child that is born. So you can do whatever you want with that child. I leave it to you. So you can spare her. So this satisfied Kamsa. Kamsa thought, okay, yeah, now as what he says is correct. I can do that, then my death will not take place, because the child, eighth child also I'll kill. So thus in due course of time, when Devki gives birth to one child after another, in fact, when the first child was born, Vasudev, as per his commitment and promise, he brings that child to Kamsa. So now when Kamsa is about to kill this child, he thinks this way that suddenly, he comes in, he gets some intelligence, and somewhere, there's some compassion also comes, and he thinks, this child is not going to be responsible for my death. Why should I kill this child? The eighth child is going to be my cause of death. So I would rather spare this child. So he hands over the child back to Vasudev. So at that point of time, our dear devotee Narada, advises Kamsa, saying that two things he tells Kamsa. One is, it's the demigods who are actually uh, who are actually uh, going to be blessed by being born as the child of Devaki and Vasudev. They'll be born. So you be careful, because they already carry some revenge against you. Secondly, how do you know who is the eighth child? If you count from here, that becomes eighth child. If you count from here, this becomes eighth child. So therefore, Kamsa, use your intelligence properly. So the moment Narad Muni says this to Kamsa, Kamsa said, okay, then I have no option but to kill each and every child that is born to my sister Devaki. Hmm? And further, Narad Muni also tells Kamsa, or reminds him that in your previous birth, you were Kalanemi, the demon, and you remember you were killed by Vishnu himself. Of course, Kamsa doesn't remember, but uh, this kind of information is shared by Narad Muni. So all in all, Kamsa gets very furious with this entire dynasty, and he also becomes angry with his own father also, because all that, and he imprisons his father also. so that he can rule the entire kingdom as per his wish and enjoy the kingdom also. So this way, he decides to take birth. So that actually brings us to this verse. So the activity is going on, and then this verse, this 39th verse of today, that is come. So where now Vasudev is saying that, I'll just read this verse once again from this. I'll read the translation part of it. So Vasudev says to Kamsa, this verse 39, when the present body turns to dust and is again reduced to the five elements, earth, water, fire, and ether, the proprietor of the body, the living entity, automatically receives another body of material elements according to his fruitive activities. When the next body is obtained, he gives up the present body. So when he gives this information, it is to be understood that there is a lot of knowledge given here, and this is exactly what we understand from Bhagavad Gita also. In fact, this verse almost parallels a very famous verse in Bhagavad Gita. Does anybody remember that verse? Which is that from Bhagavad Gita? Famous verse. Anybody wants to? Anybody remembers that verse from Bhagavad Gita? The famous verse. Okay, never mind. So it is given in the purport also. This is Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatra muyati. So there is a dehantaram anuprapya in this verse, today's verse, and there is dehantara praptir in Bhagavad Gita verse. So this is actually meaning the same. So in the Bhagavad Gita verse, as Prabhupada says in the purport, we know from this verse that the embodied soul continuously passes from, in the body itself, from boyhood to youth to old age. And then finally it passes on to the another body at the time of death. That is transmigration of the soul from one body to another body, from one species to another species. And a realized soul or a self-realized soul is not bewildered by this change. And this is a beautiful science that we will dwell in today, because this is like a Bhagavad Gita class from Bhagavatam. This class is actually, this verse is purely on Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, as we know, is a real science, the science of matter and spirit, or body and soul, or Dehe and Dehi. In this verse, there's a mention of Dehe and Dehi. So Dehe is the matter or the body, and Dehi is the spirit soul, who is the proprietor of that Dehe. Of the body, you are the proprietor. And a person or any species, or any living entity cannot be a material body. Rather, the material body, has a covering, or you can say it's a covering of the living entity, of the super soul, or sorry, of the spirit soul. Material body is the covering of the spirit soul. And Bhagavad Gita very nicely compares this covering as a dress. So daily we take bath, we change our dress, or we wear the dress according to the occasion. Depending upon what occasion we are in. We are sometimes in Vaishnava clothes. Sometimes when we have to go for work, we are in karmic clothes. Similarly, there are different types of clothes available. If we are at the conference, we will be in a different clothes. So we change the dress depending upon the requirements. So Bhagavad Gita compares this body itself as a dress and explains how this change of body from one species to another species takes place. So here it is explained that this is happening under the control of the laws of nature. So the laws of nature is automatically responsible for giving you, first of all, an association. You are deciding what association you have to take, which modes of nature you have to associate, and then based on that, the laws of nature gives you a body according to your fruitive activities. This is what Bhagavad Gita teaches, and this fruitive activities also stems in from the desires of the soul, the desires of the soul, or the ambition, as we say. So we all come with certain desires and ambition, and based on that, we try to fulfill it. and we use the external material energy for that, Maya, and the process, the next body is designed. So transmigration of soul is exactly like a change of dress. There is no, if we understand this concept, then there is no question of bewilderment at the time of death. Death is just a change of dress. When we change the dress, like yesterday I was wearing a different color kurta. Today I'm not bewildered because my kurta color changed from blue color to yellow color. No, I changed it, but I'm the same person. So similarly, death also has to be understood in that perspective. So, but if we are captivated, with the conception that I am the dress, that I am the body and I am not the soul, then what happens is we develop an attachment. Now, if I develop an attachment for this yellow color and then I keep on, wearing it, what will happen is it will start stinking, it will start getting worn out after some time, and then eventually it will tear away. Wear and tear will take place. So if I'm attached that way to the material thing, then I get bewildered also. I think that I am this dress. So we have to understand the root cause behind such thinking also. You have to always go to the root cause analysis. The root cause is Karnam Guna Sangasya Sat Asat Yoni Janmasu. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. Karna Guna Sangasya. That means our desire to lord over the material nature is putting us in such unfavorable or undesirable circumstances. And this desire comes only because of ignorance. There's only one terminology, ignorance. Thomas. So this ignorance, which is also darkness, this actually influences our material desires. That's why sometimes, based on the fruitive activities, one gets the desired body. There are 8.4 million types of body. So somebody becomes a demigod, somebody becomes a human being. In that human being also, there are 4 lakh types of consciousness, Then somebody becomes a beast, somebody becomes an animal, somebody becomes a plant, aquatic, an ant, somebody becomes a saintly person. So there are different types of, dress available or body available. So this is going on. So in this way, if the living entity keeps on, his goal to enjoy in this modes of material nature, then he tries associates with this material nature. That is Tamagun, Rajasgun, and Sattvagun. And based on the association, he does certain activities, fruitive activities, and from the results of the fruitive activities, they're either good or evil. He gets Sad Asad. So he takes association and he gets Sad Asad Jani, Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. So there are so many things. So depending, you get a good body, you get a bad body, depending upon your Guna Sangasya. So that's why this explains why there are higher bodies and lower bodies also. So if somebody does a sinful act, then Duskruti, he then goes down the next life. He gets a lower body on the human species. Or sometimes if he does abominable activities, then he goes down further. He may get an animal body also. That way. On the other hand, somebody is associating with the mode of goodness all the time, then he gets a promotion, he gets a better body. Like Prabhupada says, the aristocratic body one can get. Somebody is born rich. So the richness is also because of the the previous life fruitive activities. Similarly, one can become a demigod also, Devta, because based on his years of activities. So this particular point, Vasudev was trying to impress upon to Kamsa that see, by killing your own sister, Devaki, you are committing a gross sinful activity. So therefore, O Kamsa, please be careful that in the next life, see, as it is, we are conditioned in this life. So next life, you might be even more strictly conditioned. In other words, your suffering in this material existence will only increase. So therefore, Vasudeva earnestly advised Kamsa not to commit this kind of sinful activity. So this is basically a philosophical diplomacy adopted by Vasudeva to basically brainwash Kamsa. So coming back to our endeavors, see, our endeavors should always, when from what we understand from this whole philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, our endeavor should always be to associate with Sattva Guna and not indulge in Rajaguna or even Tamaguna. Rajas Tamo Bhava. Because these lusty desires and the so-called greed propensity, which are coming out of ignorance, they will prevent us from getting elevation. They will prevent us from getting elevation. So not only Sattva Guna, we should try to associate with Shuddha Sattva Guna. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport. Shuddha Sattva Guna. So Shuddha Sattva Guna is basically devotional service, bhakti. Sattva Guna is good, no doubt. Okay, you're doing good things, philanthropy activity, you're caring for another human being, you're compassionate, you've got some divine qualities, love, caring, compassion, all that is fine. But unless and until we keep Krishna in the center, who is the Bhoktaram, Yagatapasam, unless we keep him and our activities are dovetailed for his prasanata, for his satisfaction, to please his senses, that is bhakti. Unless we do that, and if we do that, then we are also getting immunity. So ultimately, we need immunity from the reactions of these three modes of material nature. So how do we get that immunity? The immunity is only because of associating with Shuddha Sattva Guna. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Yambam Vapi Smaran Bhavam, Tajanti Ante Kalevaram. So that means he says very clearly that whatever state of mind one remembers at the time of leaving the body or changing the dress, that state, he attains. Tam tam evaiti kaunteya, he attains without fail. O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So it is very important, I'll give a very crude example. Why it is important to, because it's easier to say that, okay, at the time of death, I'll remember Krishna. It doesn't happen. Unless we practice Krishna consciousness throughout our life, it cannot happen. Because all the memories of the activities that one performs gets imprinted one upon the other. At the time of death, they are played like a reel. They are just played like a reel. It keeps coming. And where it stops, that becomes your Yamam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. So suppose if we are engaged in, our taste is towards Bollywood or towards some sports or some other frivolous activities, then that will again come. Even though we may have taken Krishna consciousness, but then the imprints are so strong there, that we want to hear some old songs, melodies of the golden era of 70s, 80s or whatever. They keep coming. It's very difficult to go unless and until we completely surrender to the Lord. And that is the difficult process. It's an easy process, but it's very difficult to achieve because we have to remove all the previous imprints that is there. Sometimes we see that, when you do Google search, we try to search for something, and then related to that, you must have seen something before that also pops up. The algorithm of Google search engine is such that it identifies what you want, and based on that also pops up, this also pops up. So all your previous things, what you have done, that keeps coming back. And then we go on, we hit the close button here, we hit the close button there, and then we see what we want, isn't it? So similarly, these imprints keep coming. It doesn't spare anyone. Even Bharat Maharaj was not spared. Such an elevated stage, he was at the stage of prema. At that stage, he got affectionate to one deer, a small deer, and the deer was there in his home. One day when the deer was missing somewhere, his thoughts got absorbed in the deer, completely absorbed in the deer. And in that state of mind, he left Imam Vapi Smaran Bhavam. And then in the next life, he became a great personality, became a deer. But because he had practiced Krishna consciousness, he could remember his past life even in the deer's body. And then he could correct that in the next body as Jada Bharat. And then the following body, the following lifetime, he went back home, back to Godhead. So there is a famous saying, among the in the mundane world, man is the shaper of his own destiny. Actually, it is right. What Mr. Chet Atkins has said, man is the shaper of own destiny. See, you are shaping your destiny based on your desires. Of course, he might have made this quote based on for material achievements. But if you see in the long run, it is very true. This statement is very profound. Somebody says your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. That's also a very profound statement, because your thoughts, your desires, your ambition, everything is stored in the mind, which is the reservoir. And then this makes then you see which modes of nature I associate to get my desire fulfilled. That is what material nature will actually eventually make you do. And you will think that you are the doer. Prakriti kriya manani guna karmasa. So ahankara vimudatma. So we think that we are the doers. Actually, it's a nature, modes of nature, which is making you do that because you desired that way. Shaknoti eva yah sodum. That means the person who is able to, in this lifetime, tolerate what? Kama, krodha, bhavam, vegam. That means the urges of kama, krodha, vega, if he is able to tolerate, sayukta, sa sukhi, naraha. That person is the happiest person. So Bhagavad Gita also advises that one who can, really control these urges is very thing. And then dovetail all. So when you control the urges, you are like, trying to become a Goswami, controlling the urges. And then dovetailing all the activities for Krishna's pleasure. That is Krishna consciousness. And along with that, you add all the key elements of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, all that you completely add. So when you add all that as a practice of your bhakti, then what happens is when you are trying to give up your dress or material body, then anta kalecha mam eva smaran mukta kalevaram. So at that time, Krishna says that at the end of the life, one who quits the body, remembering me, at once, iha prayatisa mad bhavam, he attains my nature. And there is no doubt about this, he says. Of this, there is no doubt. So this is very, very important lesson we have to learn. And anyone who quits this body in this manner will always attain. That is the reason why Mahaprabhu introduced the chanting process. Chanting process is called the escalator process, because Mahaprabhu knows that in this material world we are absorbed in so many things, because we have to maintain the body also. We have to maintain our family if we are in Grasta. So to focus, very, very difficult. Therefore, simple process is chanting. And this chanting is remembrance of the Lord and Lord's energy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so what is preventing us from remembering the Lord all the time? Each one should do their own self-evaluation. Everybody will have different reason, but there is one common reason for each one of us. That is our swabhavik nature to forget Krishna. We are forgetting Krishna. And again, we are including that because of the forgetful nature is coming because of our ignorance. Because we are contaminated. We are putting Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, all this Mishra Bhakti we are doing. Krishna Buliya Jeev, Bhoga Vancha Kare. We want to enjoy, we want to lord our property, our proper everything. We want to be proprietors. So what happens? Pashate Maya Tare, Japatiya Dare. So immediately Maya, the external energy of the Lord, is waiting. So that is her job. She doesn't want us to unnecessarily waste Krishna's time. So she'll capture. And then she will give you samsare dukkha. Krishna Buliya Sejiv Anadi Bhairmukha. That means since time immemorial, we are turning our backs from Krishna. Ateva Maya Tare Deya Samsara Dukkha. So it is giving after miseries to us. So Krishna, he therefore says that this whole energy, Daivi Haisha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya, it is very difficult to cross. This Mama Maya is Duratya. It's very difficult. But mam eva ye prapadyante, maya etam tarantite. One who is earnestly surrendering to me, my lotus feet, Lord says, for him, I make the lotus feet as a means to cross this material ocean. And how this lotus feet is helping us? The lotus feet comes, through the mercy of this Guru Parampara. The Guru is a representation of that lotus feet. So the Guru becomes the boat. Sorry, the Guru becomes the boatman. And Krishna Leela, Krishna Nam, Krishna Gun, all that is the components of the boat. So when we serve the boatman, the Guru, he says, come over here. He takes us into the boat of Harikatha. And then we chant, we glorify, we serve him, and then we can be able to easily cross over this vast material ocean, which is full of miseries. And then we enter into the spiritual destination, which is our ultimate goal, Goloka, Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka Premadan, Harinam Sankirtan. So there, when we go, there is no need for any sunlight to make it effulgent. Tat tat bhashyate suryo. There is no need for any moonlight. Na shashanko na pavakaha. Tad dama. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dama paramam mama. So if we go there, we don't come back because we are so much absorbed in the bliss of service that we cannot even think of this material world. We have forgotten the material world forever. And that is the blissful nature of the soul. And this is the kind of knowledge that we get from today's verse that Vasudev is trying to give to Kamsa, so that with that knowledge at least he can spare Devaki, which he does. And the rest is, if he had not spared Devaki, then how Krishna would have appeared. So Devaki is spared as per Krishna's plan, who inspires Vasudev to give this instruction to Kamsa. And then now stage becomes clear. We'll see later how Krishna advents and then how the things unfold, the various leelas of the Lord. Thank you very much. I will stop here and I will use this next 10 minutes to invite His Grace Mukundatta Prabhu to share in few minutes the glories of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, whose Abhirbhav Tithi is today, and also the Sri Ramachandra Kaviraj, his disappearance day is today. So I would request, I will just invite him here so that His Grace Mukundatta, we can hear from his feet, from his own lotus mouth. And he is the head pujari of ISKCON Vrindavan. We are so fortunate and blessed to have him here today. And I will just invite him now. 1 second. Yes, Prabhuji, can you please kindly? 10 minutes.
Hare Krishna, Jai. Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye. Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tada Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is a very auspicious day. For us, of course, every day is auspicious because Mahaprabhu is in the center of our life. Radha Krishna are in the center of our life. So everything is auspicious. So as practicing devotees, we are trying to make more and more advancement towards becoming perfect in our spiritual life, realizing our spiritual nature as the eternal servant of Krishna, practical realization, Atmak Sakshakar, and then we try to realize Krishna Swarup, Krishna Sakshatkar or Mahaprabhu Swarup. So by the mercy of the Acharyas, then actually we can advance by the mercy of the spiritual master, first of all, and then the previous Acharyas. So we belong to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Brahma Madhva, coming also, of course, ultimately from Krishna, Jagat Guru, Vande Se Krishna, Jagat Guru, Vande Krishna, Jagat Guru. Krishna is the source of everything and is the source of the spiritual material worlds of all the incarnations. The personality of Godhead is the source of all knowledge. So he gave knowledge to Lord Brahma, of course, to Lord Shiva, also to others also. and then later on to Arjuna. So Lord Brahma gave to his disciples, also the four Kumaras. And then in our Sampradaya, then Narada Muni was there, and then Vyasadev, and then Madhvacharya, and so on. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Mahaprabhu's followers, Swarup Damodar, Rai Ramananda Roy, and then the six Goswamis. So one day Rupa Sanatana, so Rupa Sanatana, and Raghunath Das, Raghunath Bhatta, and Jiv Goswami, and then Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, of Krishna, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he appeared in South India, Sri Rangam. So we're here now in Mumbai. Of course, we are always in Vrindavan, also in Navadvip, remembering Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna, our Ishtadev. So at the same time, physically we are in Mumbai, but just 2 days before we are in Sri Rangam. And according to some Vaishnavas, they observed Gopabhata Goswami's appearance day before, somehow due to different Panchika. So we have been thinking about Gopabhata Goswami since now 2 days, day before yesterday and today. So we have been to the place where Gopabhata Goswami resided with his father Venkat Bhatta and his uncle Prabhanananda Saraswati Thakur, also dear associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and who is one of the Ashtasakis in Braj, I believe Tungavidya Saki, Prabhanananda Saraswati Thakur. And so Mahaprabhu, he stayed there for 4 months during Chaturmas in the year, when was it? I can't remember now the year, but 1510, yes, 1510, yes. 1510 he was there. And Mahaprabhu appeared in 86. So he was, 24 years. So after taking sannyas, so he went to Sri Rangam and he stayed there for 4 months. In their house, so we saw the house of Venkapata. And Mahaprabhu, there is a little temple there, opposite of Venkatapata's house. And beautiful small deities of Jagannath Baladev Subhadrant, said to be made by Mahaprabhu himself. Very beautiful. Not the usual Jagannath we see, but you can see the arms also, but beautiful. And the face, just like Krishna Balaram. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he was there, he was just a small boy at that time, 5-6 years old. And so actually they are devotees of the Sri Sampradaya, Ramanuja Sampradaya, who are all over South India. So many temples are there of the Ramanuja Sampradaya. But in the association of Mahaprabhu, and of course we understand that they're associates, but in the past time they appear of the Lord in the Sri Sampradaya. But being with Mahaprabhu, they became devotees of Krishna, of Radha Krishna, devotees of Mahaprabhu. And they started chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gopabhata Goswami was very inspired by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was ready to go with him, but Mahaprabhu told him, no, you stay there and you serve your parents. And once your parents, they leave this world, then you can come and join me. So he did also what Mahaprabhu told him. And, and actually then he came to Vrindavan, and so he was fortunate to get actually a choki used by Mahaprabhu and the cloth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, that is still kept there in the Radhaman temple. But due to the will of providence, due to the Lord's pastimes, and the influence of time. So he was not able to meet Mahaprabhu, but still, of course, externally meeting, but actually he was still able to see him internally. And pastimes are there also. After he had gone to Gandaki River in Nepal, a pilgrimage. Then he was doing bath there, and by taking water from the river, Gandaki River, with a balti, with a bucket. And then as he was taking the water, some Shaligram Shilas came inside the bucket. I was thinking, I don't need the Shaligram Shila. We put them back. Again, he was taking water again, Shilas came in there. And so 3 times it happened, and he thought, well, they want to be with me, so what to do? I take them with me. So they were from Brahmana family, and so expert in deity worship in South India. So then he took the Shaligram back with him to Vrindavan and worshipped them. And one day, actually Nishinga Chaturdasi was fasting and worshipping Nishingadev, and he was thinking, I have these Shilas, but I would like to worship the form of the Lord. The Shilas are just manifestation of the Lord also, but they are round in form, and you cannot really see the features like the face or the hands and the feet. So I was thinking, our Rupa Goswami and the other Goswamis, many of them, they have beautiful deities. I wish to have also beautiful deity. So, and then the next day, actually, then, so we can see that actually in South India, there are many Nishingadev temples. I was also just before Sri Rangam, I was in Ohuvilam. And Navanishinga, there are 9 deities, self-manifested deities of Nishingadev. And throughout South India, you can see many temples, they have Nishingadev, Lakshmi Nishingadev. So therefore he was praying also to Nishingadev and worshipping Nishingadev and Nishinga Chaturdasi. And so then next day he was blessed that from one of the Shaligram Shila, Damodar Shila, then they are considered very auspicious, Damodar Shila. And then Radharaman Dev appeared, very beautiful deity, and so I was very happy, and it just happened that somebody had given him some cloth and a small flute, which he used then to adorn Radharaman. So Raman is there, and Radharani they have actually in the form of a name, and the crown is there, which they have next to Raman, and so then they worship Radharaman. Very beautiful. And so he was serving the deity for quite some time, and so feeling separation from Mahaprabhu also, he was praying that to be able to have the association of Mahaprabhu. But then Radharaman appeared to him in a dream and told him, I'm not different from Mahaprabhu appeared and told him, I'm not different from Radharaman. So then he was satisfied. So he was seeing Mahaprabhu in his worshipable deity. And it is explained that Radharaman is a manifestation of Madan Mohan, Govindadev and Gopinath. The feet are representing Madan Mohan, the chest are representing Govindadev, and the face, Gopinath, and the face Govindadev. So of course in our worshipable deity, like we are staying in Vrindavan, we have Shama Sundar. So we also see Madan Mohan, Govindadev and Gopinath in Shama Sundar, beautiful Shama Sundar. And so in this way we can advance in our spiritual life by the mercy of Madan Mohan, the presiding deity of Sambandha Gyan, and Govindadev, the presiding deity of Abhidheya Gyan, and Gopinath, the presiding deity of Prayojan Gyan. So, but they're there in one deity also, a worshipable deity. Maybe Sham Sundar, maybe Radharaman. So And then he gave the seva to his disciples. When Gopinath Acharya was there, and one more disciple, I forgot his name. Maybe, yeah. So, and then the seva has been handed down, and now different families are taking care of Radharaman. So, Gopabhata Goswami was a sannyasi, was never married, but then the disciples, they got married, and the two disciples, and then their children, they also got the right to serve, and then it was divided. Now they get the seva, because there's so many families, they get the seva once a year, maybe for 2-3 weeks. And then they share the seva. So, but the seva is going on very nicely. And many devotees are going to take darshan. Is the Ishtadev of many devotees in Vrindavan, and is also one of the favorites of the devotees of ISKCON. They like to go there. So today is his appearance day. So we pray for his mercy. And he was actually very instrumental in helping Sanat Goswami compile Hari Bhakti Vilas. He was a great scholar, Gopabhata Goswami, so he helped him compile Hari Bhakti Vilas. And also he wrote one book, which is very important, Sakriya Saradipika, how to perform the different samskars. So that our devotees in ISKCON, they follow how they do the different ceremonies, Vivah Samskar, Garbhadan Samskar, Namkarna Samskar, Anaprasana Samskar, and so on. They do according to Gopabhata Goswami, Sakriya Saradipika. Sakriya means the activities to be performed in this world as a household, especially. Sar, the essence, is mentioned there. Dipika, and that which shows the essence of the activities to be performed, the different samskars for the Vaishnavas, with our Ishtadev in the center, with Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna in the center. So we are so much adapted to him for giving this wonderful book, and other books may be there, and helping to compile Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is an important book for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and also especially for due to his love manifesting Radharaman. So Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki. So of course many pastimes are there, but we don't have much time. So a few words about Ramachandra Kaviraj. So great devotee of the Lord, actually disciple of Srinivasacharya, so also connected to Radharaman, and he was staying in Vrindavan, so he was born in Bengal, son of Chiranjiva Sena, associate of Mahaprabhu, and he had a younger brother, his name was Govinda. Yes, and so they were, of course, also associates of the Lord, and very wonderful devotees. And so actually when Ramachandra Kaviraj got married, then on the way to the actually house of his wife, when he was going, so on the way they were carrying him on the palanquin. There was a ceremony performed when they were welcoming him to their house. And on the way he saw Srinivasacharya, and he was just giving a discourse, Krishna Katha, and they actually saw each other, and immediately, as we say in this world also, love at the first sight. Of course, between man and woman, it may be there, but it is also there. So not only in the material world, in the spiritual world also. So first time they saw each other, they were immediately attracted to each other. And so both Srinivas and Ramachandra. And he was going to his wife's house, so some ceremony was performed, but he was thinking about Srinivasacharya. So he was just newly married. And of course, those who have love for Krishna, they will have love for everyone. But it is natural to be attraction between man and woman. But he was more attracted to Krishna than his wife. And that's how it should be for the householders also. But then the householders are also very dutiful, and they take care of the family, and they have love for Krishna, so they have love for the family also. That is natural. But they have more love for Krishna than the family. That's how it should be. And even Srinivasacharya, actually, he was a householder and he had 2 wives in 2 places. And he was going back and forth preaching and taking care of both of them. At that time, it was allowed, and they were able to maintain spiritually and materially speaking also. And so, and Srinivasacharya also, then he was inquiring from his disciple, who is that person who just passed by? Is very seems to be an extraordinary person. And they said, yeah, his name is Ramachandra, from the royal family. And he's actually a great scholar, and he's also Kaviraj. So, and the son, he was smiling. Okay, fine. And so then the next day, Ramachandra Kaviraj, he went back and to Srinivasacharya's place, and he offered obeisances to him, and then they embraced each other. And then he was telling Srinivasacharya, you're my servant life after life. And then actually I initiated him so after a few days. And so actually Ramachandra Kaviraj family, they were his father, grandfather, they were great worshippers of Durga Devi. Yeah. So, and Shiva. So, but then, so he was also doing that, although originally, even before, they were actually also from Vaishnava family, but sometimes it happens, there's some change there. And so he also was attracted to Durga Devi due to family influence. But then immediately, then as he took shelter of Srinivasacharya, he got initiated. He was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then he, of course, had also the tilak of the Vaishnavas, and he came back. And all the family members, they were somewhat upset. What is this? What is going on here? You have Vaishnav tilak and you're chanting the holy names. And then, so he actually, because he was a great scholar and having already studied the scriptures, but then in the association of Srinivasacharya, then he immediately manifested his love for Krishna. And then he preached to all the family members, and they were then all fine. So a great devotee. So on this day, so then he stayed in, actually, but then he went to Vrindavan later on, and he became great friends with Narottam Das Thakur, a great devotee. And at that time also, then Srinivasacharya had gone to Vrindavan and stayed there. And so they spent a lot of time there together. And then actually from there, Srinivasacharya, Shamananda Prabhu, Narottam, they were preaching. They were starting the first Sankirtan party. But so Narottam had always a good relationship, and if they were best of friends, and Narottam has also written in his songs, Ramachandra Sangam, Narottama Das. So we pray for him, for his mercy also, so that we may develop pure love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha and Krishna. So in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Ramachandra Kaviraj is known as Karuna Manjari. Yes, and Gopa Bhakta Goswami is known as Guna Manjari. So we pray that we may develop our love for Krishna, pure love for Krishna, pure love for Mahaprabhu, pure love for Srimati Radharani. So we pray for these great personalities to bestow their best blessings upon us. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we stop here. And of course, also today, as you have also heard, it is the birthday, happy birthday, according to Titi of Prabhuji, Shamchandra Prabhuji. So very nice name, Shamchandra. Sham Sundar, who is like the full moon, and is a servant of Shamchandra. So, so we pray for his long life and Krishna consciousness, so he may develop also more love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna. He's already a wonderful devotee, but we pray that he may advance more and more. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Let's close the call.
Okay.
On behalf of all the devotees, we would like to humbly bow down before Prabhuji and thank him for this wonderful, glorification of the two great personalities. Vancha kalpataru vescha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. So thank you, dear devotees. There will not be enough time left. We went over time. But I just wanted to add that Srinivas, our Ramachandra Kavira's spiritual master Srinivas Acharya, has a special reference for Sripad Maharaj's disciples, because we have Srinivas Acharya ashram, very close to in Radhakund, very close to Sripad Maharaj Samadhi. That is the ashram, Srinivas Acharya ashram. So whenever we go there, we have to remember all these pastimes, and we can always advance in devotion. So thank you all devotees. Thank you, Radha Govind Prabhu, for giving a small extension of time, because we had to glorify these two great personalities today. So we'll end here, Prabhu. I think there's no time for any questions, right?
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yeah.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, पतित पावन श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.
Very, very good.